Good morning from Arizona, where I have returned. I guess it's noon in Texas. Anyway, it's morning here, damn it. And I'm back in Arizona. Lots of updates, and we're going to get going right after this with the DLS Rangers podcast. Hey guys, guess who's back? It's our friend. Those are the two guys it's built on, Jacob deGrom and Nathan Eovaldi. I know everybody is eager about the offense, but not the Well, the Rangers are too, but it's all about pitching. Whenever your president of baseball operations is a former major league pitcher, I'm guessing it's going to be always be about pitching. Welcome into the show. We are at Surprise Stadium. I'll be looking up and down every once in a while. The guys on the field taking batting practice. Evan Carter currently in the cage. Um, there's a lot going on here as the Rangers enter their third week of camp. I think it's their third, maybe their fourth, whatever it is. It's not going to end soon enough. I think they're ready to get out of here. I don't want to know necessarily that they want to be here, but they're here and they're playing the Guardians today. And a couple of things about that game. Elijah, who's working the controls back there, he's got the lineup he can show us here in a second. There you have it. The thing of note, as far as I'm concerned, is the second and third hitters. Wyatt Langford batting second, Corey Seager batting third. It'll be interesting to see how the Rangers try to split up their lefties, how they want to go um, with that going into the season. And then there, down at the very, very bottom, you see Awesome Gomber, the left-hander, is pitching today. And don't be alarmed. Nathan Eovaldi is still pitching today. He's still healthy and upright and on 2 feet and able to throw a baseball. He is throwing, though, at noon local time here on the backfield in a simulated game, and that's perfectly by design. The Rangers, Skip Schumacher said it was his decision. A couple reasons why he wanted to see Austin Gomber in an A game against the Guardians, and also he wants Evaldi to be able to work on the things he needs to work on. There are a couple of things that Nathan is trying to get dialed in, and it's easier to do in a simulated game, which you can control. You can roll innings and end innings and get extra outs or whatever it is you need to do. It's better accomplished if you're really working on things on the backfield. So there you go. Nothing is wrong with Nathan Eovaldi, who we're going to talk about a lot more in the next segment. Anyway, all right, technology. I'm back. Don't know what happened there. Anyway, let's get back to what we were talking about in the camp rundown. A bunch of roster moves today announced, and it's about time. Minor league camp, which we're going to talk about in the third segment, has its first official day tomorrow. The players are all here. They had a big meeting today, but roster moves. Some of these aren't surprising in the least. Winston Santos was optioned to Double A Frisco. Emiliano Teodo optioned to Triple A Round Rock. They're both hurt and can't pitch. So, Santos has the broken left hand, and Teodo is still working his way back from the back and hip situation that he dealt with last year. He is throwing bullpen sessions. He's just not in games yet. Uh, Reassigned to minor league camp, Nabil Krismat and Declan Cronin, who are both in various stages of Tommy John. Krismat just had his, and Cronin is on the way back. And then outfielder Trevor Hauver, Sebastian Walcott, Richie Martin, Josh Trinidad, and Dalton Pence all reassigned to minor league camp. Of course, Walcott with the elbow surgery, and Pence and Trinidad. It's a situation where the Rangers are just running out of innings for pitchers, so they get to go to minor league camp and get stretched out. Apparently, Dalton Pence is going to be stretched out to be a starter. So we'll see how that goes after he kind of was well, he was definitely a reliever last year, but had some multiple inning appearances. So anyway, talk to both of them. They're both soft spoken, both left-handers, and but both pretty good. So we'll see more of them, follow them this season in the minor leagues. And more moves can come after the off day Wednesday, or the off day is Tuesday. The moves can come Wednesday, just depending on um, again the innings. Pitchers are running out of innings, and then how do the Rangers feel about where they stand in terms of players available to fill in for the guys who've gone off to the WBC. So a couple of factors in play there. On the injury front, Josh Young, strained adductor. He's in the early stages of being shut down. Well, not shut down, but not doing anything for 10 days. I did see him out on the field today. It looks like he's itching to go. He's in full uniform, but the Rangers are playing this one cautiously with adductor, which I believe is the inside of the hamstring, the inside of the thighs. Um, the guess here, though, is that they play it pretty cautiously. Um, there's a long way to go until opening day. He can still be ready, no question about it. Remember a couple of years ago in 2024, he had the calf strain on the very first day he was here, very first day, and then he didn't play for most of the spring, but was available. Was on the opening day roster, had 4 great games until he took a ball, and you know the rest is a broken wrist, and I don't know. It probably bothered him last year. He'll never admit to it. Justin Foscue, right hamstring strain. He had already missed a week. He'll be down for at least another week. He'll have about 2 weeks to try to win a roster spot. He hit on the field today. Saw him. He went out and played catch. He didn't have. I would say he didn't have great roster chances beforehand. Not
Please stand by. We're getting Jeff back. Thanks for your patience.
All right, guys, I'm here. Technology is not our friend today at the DLLS Rangers podcast. I don't know where we left off. Anybody want to give me a pointer? I think I was talking about the starting pitching. If I'm repeating myself, please jump in and let me know. Um, Gore, who pitched he pitched Friday, did well, 3 innings, scoreless, got up to 96 in his second outing of the spring. Then we had the Jack Leiter, not as good on Saturday. 1 and 1/3 innings, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 45 pitches, and 4 outs. That's not very good. 24 strikes, 21 balls. Not the efficiency that Jack needs to have if he wants to accomplish his goals. What I wrote about Friday, so maybe I jinxed him. And then Sunday, Jacob Latz pitched. Uh, 3 innings, 2 earned runs. Both came on a Cole Young home run on a hanging slider. Um, Jake, though, 41 pitches, so he was happy with the efficiency. He's throwing a lot of strikes. One thing I talked to him this morning, he's a little concerned that his velocity isn't as high when he comes out of the gate, but by the time he gets into his second and third innings, it's there. He's happy with the strike throwing ability, so that's good. He thinks that'll help when his help his secondary pitches start to come in and be more effective and lead to some more strikeouts. I had started talking about Cam Colley because he's taking batting practice right now before my very eyes, and well, um, people should be excited. He's had a great spring here. He homered yesterday against Logan Gilbert. Rangers have always had trouble with Logan Gilbert, so maybe Cam Colley's their elixir. I don't know about that, but he's in his first big league camp. He's taking advantage of it. He's still here, so that's a good thing. He's obviously showing something. He's so athletic, one of the fastest guys in the organization, and now he's added some power. I mean, he looks strong. I'm looking at him right now. He looks stronger than he has in the past. Um, he wasn't protected though when he was on the 40 man, or when it came Rule 5 time in November. The Rangers did not protect him. They didn't feel like he was going to get um, picked up by anybody, and he wasn't. Still some rawness, I guess, offensively as he pumps one off of the wall here in BP. But this is a guy who has a chance to be a real handy major league player if he can get things figured out offensively. He's just so fast, and he's such a premium defender at shortstop. He can play second. He was taking ground balls at third. He's played the outfield in Frisco, where he said chasing down a fly ball is like um, chasing down a deep ball thrown by a quarterback, because he was a great high school wide receiver, all state caliber. If you guys recall his history, so he's getting attention, yeah, Mason. Um, but there's still something that the Rangers need to see before they're ready to put him on the 40 man. Now, if he has a good season this year, I think he'll start at Frisco. If he has a good season this year, um, they'll have to put him on the 40 man because somebody would probably reach in there and grab him. Like, he's a guy that a contending team can make use of. You can put him on your bench if you take him in the Rule 5 draft. Let's say you can put him on your bench and use him, strategically but wisely, and you can get him through a whole season. Um, I was going to check one more time before we went to the commercial break on the pitchers the Rangers are going to use today after Austin Gomber. You ready for this? Gavin Collier, who's very excited. Um, Jacob Junis, Colwyn, Josh Spores, okay, Ryan Brazier, Eric Loomis, Peyton Gray. Not sure they'll all get in, but they're definitely on the roster, and you may see them at some point today. So that's pretty interesting. Just take note of where Gavin Collier is pitching. He shows him as the first reliever listed. That's not insignificant as they try to get him some looks against some pretty good competition. All right, so hopefully the technological bugaboos are behind us, and we are going to go to our first break, and we'll come back and we'll talk about Jacob deGrom and Nathan Eovaldi right after this on the DLLS Rangers podcast. Hey guys, guess who's back? It's our friends from Shady Rays, the wonderful sunglasses company that they do quality, and they do it for a very, very, very fair price. It is sunny as heck here in Arizona. It's supposed to be 90 degrees today. And one thing about Arizona, it just seems so much brighter than a sunny day at home. But even at home, when it's bright, you're out on the golf course or doing whatever on the lake, especially, you're going to need your Shady Rays. And Shady Rays is going to change your sunglasses game. They're made for real life. They're good looking, polarized, durable, and they are not stupidly expensive. And if you lose them or break them, even on the first day, Shady Rays will send you a brand new pair. No guilt, just straight up replacements. So now you can wear sunglasses without fear. Hikes, concerts, boats, wherever. Shady Rays is your place to go. Go to shadyrays.com and use the code SRDLLS for 40% off of two or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. And of course, our good friends at Wild Fork Foods, always glad to have them on the show. And you will be too when you go to Wild Fork's meats and seafood markets. There's 9 of them in DFW. Our favorite is probably the one in Addison, though it's the closest one, at least, to DLLS headquarters. They're going to be expanding westward. That's in the plan to get to the west side of the Metroplex. Anyway, you can also go to wildforkfoods.com, become a member for $29 for a year, and you can get free delivery of your order either that day or no later than the next day. And it's all kinds of meat. If you're adventurous, again, there's the kangaroo. If you like a lean meat, there's some buffalo, but it's the basics. It's your beef, your poultry, and your pork. And boy, from all over the world at competitive prices. They meet every Monday to come up with the cheapest prices. That's at wildforkfoods.com or friends at Wild Fork Foods Meat and Seafood Market. All right, we're back. I'm going to keep my hands off of my computer. I think that's the problem. Well, I know I accidentally closed the window, and I don't know how. So anyway, uh, taking a hands-off approach here. But we're going to talk about Nathan Eovaldi and Jacob deGrom because um, the Rangers are, get this, until proven otherwise, they are a pitching first franchise or a pitching first team. Look, this is a team that again led the majors in ERA last season, the first time that ever happened in franchise history. You had deGrom was the team's lone All Star. He didn't pitch in the game, as it turned out. Evaldi should have, could have been an All Star. Um, should have been the contender for uh, us to lead baseball in ERA, but he was injured, didn't qualify, but still had a 173 ERA, which is pretty darn shiny in what 20 something starts, 130 innings. So he's back and he's healthy. Again, he's pitching on the backfields today. So if you're in town like Misty is, maybe you can get out there and take a look at him. DeGrom, he's been very coy about when he's going to pitch, although I bet if I'm a betting man, I'm betting he's going to pitch Wednesday against Brazil. I don't know that for sure, but he has thrown live batting practice. He threw that a few days ago. So the next step for him is a game. So it could be there. Also, that day, the Rangers are going to run a series of like simulated games on the backfield. So maybe DeGrom partakes in those. But he's about to hit the mound and he's been pretty silly about it. I guess he said that he was going to, when you know, is basically what he said. And I guess with him, that's the truth. But he does need to build up and start getting ready here. Anyway, um, let's say he's probably on the same build up regimen as everybody else, so he'll be 2 and 30 pitches roughly, then progress to 3 and 4 and 5, and if the Rangers are pitching every fifth day, he has plenty of time to get ready and to do this stuff. So he could still technically pitch on opening day. It's not an impossibility. In fact, today it's with the way things are lined up though. I bet it's Eovaldi if they just follow a strict 5-man schedule. If he's pitching today and the season opens to 26th, well, that's 25 days. and then deGrom would pitch the second game, which is actually 2 days after the opener. So the Rangers have a game the 26th. 27th is an off day. 28th then is game two at Philadelphia. Not saying anything's for sure there. Not saying anything at all is for sure. But just kind of connect the dots and play the numbers game. Anyway, Eovaldi, he's made two starts. He started the spring opener, gave up to 3 runs in 2 innings against the Royals, and 2 of them came on a home run that was probably a flyout just about every other ballpark in the majors. Maybe even in well, I don't know about Arizona. I mean, it's 350 down the line here, so they understand the the effects of the wind and the thin air. But he in any event, he was happy with it. His next outing, he went 3 innings. The numbers look better, but I still think he's feeling a little out of whack with some things. He's trying to get all of his pitches dialed in. Hence the fact that he will pitch today in a simulated game on the backfields, while Austin Gomber, as we've mentioned, this is now the third time will pitch in the A game. Um, Evaldi and deGrom are similar in that they're both so meticulous about uh, feel and mechanics and making sure that they get the command and everything right. When Jacob deGrom is at his best, his fastball is zipping in there on the outside corner. He can throw the slider in the same spot, and it just dives off the plate, and pitchers um, can't help but swing and miss it, and I think even with the ABS this year, it'll still be effective. Though maybe, though maybe the desperate hitter will get 2 strikes against him and be like, all right, I'm just going to take a pitch and see what happens. Especially if they think a slider's coming. So deGrom, what's he been doing? If he hasn't pitched, I mean, the pitcher's first day was February 10th. So what on earth has he been doing? He has thrown a lot of sides. He's been in the lab at least twice, trying to get his mechanics dialed in. Um, Throwing bullpens, he threw the live, and he feels fine. He looks great. He's in a good mood. He hasn't had um, any reason to not be in a pleasant demeanor and disposition. And this might also delaying his start might also be a reactionary to slowing him down a little bit after he made 30 starts and threw in the 175 range innings wise. And it also could be slowing him down to make sure that he doesn't go too fast too soon as the Rangers kind of take some of the reins off of him in his second full year after Tommy John surgery. Last year was considered the rebound season. So this year is kind of like the foot on the gas season. Though I don't know that Jacob deGrom needs to ever put the foot on the gas again. I think, he's going to want to make as many starts as he can. He's already said that. He's even said that he's willing to the Rangers, manipulating his schedule, building in some rest for him, because the goal, he said, is to make every start, and the goal is to be able to make starts in October that are effective. So um, I wouldn't worry at all about Jake. I wouldn't worry at all about Eovaldi. Now, in the order in which they pitch, I don't know necessarily that matters either. Though I'll be honest, I wouldn't mind seeing a left-hander in between him and in between the two. Gore could fit in there. That would be um, a different look, at least in a 3-game series. You're not getting two hard throwing guys back to back, though again, Eovaldi has so many more pitches that he uses. Not that deGrom doesn't have a huge arsenal, because he can throw 4. He threw that curveball a couple times last year in each start, and it was pretty effective. Eovaldi has like 100 pitches, I think. So they're similar, but they're not similar. I still wouldn't mind throwing a lefty in there though. But and here's something else to consider: if they want to give deGrom the first home start, the guy who starts the second game would be in line to make that start in the home opener against the Reds. So maybe that's in play too, and then maybe they find an off day to flip somebody and make it work out. But whatever the case is, when you talk about 1-2 punches, the Rangers are in really good shape. There are a lot of major league teams that wish they could have 2 guys at the top of their rotation or in the rotation, the caliber of deGrom and Eovaldi, And you can look around the majors and say, well, the Tigers now, they've got that Cy Young winner Skubal, and they got Framber. Okay, that's pretty good. You can look, at the Mariners and pick out a couple of their starters and be like, hey, these guys are pretty good. You can do it with the Dodgers, obviously. You can do it with a handful of teams, but you can't do it with every team. So the Rangers have a little bit of an edge that way. And then when you throw in Gore and Leiter, and then whoever the fifth starter is, Latz, who may not win the spot, even though right now he seems to have the edge, at least statistically, on Rocker. We'll see how Kamar does. I think he's going to pitch. I think his next time would be Wednesday. Um, so maybe if deGrom does pitch that day, then maybe Kamar would follow him. It needs to be a little better than it was last time, at least. Um, and again, the consistency. Maybe that's the ultimate factor that decides this thing, because if Latz is more consistent, I think the Rangers would want that. Um, Now Cal Quantrill, um, don't see Cal winning this fifth spot in the rotation, at least based on his first two outings. Maybe he'll do well for Canada in the WBC. Not sure about that. And then Gomber, I think he has a lot of work to do. But he's the Rangers at least want to take a serious look at him today. So uh, there you have it. That's kind of your update on the aces. Again, healthy, nothing to worry about. And then how they're deployed during the season. You know, Nathan Eovaldi, on day one of spring training, I asked him about um, how he stays healthy, because again he had the off-season hernia surgery, which apparently was bothering him the previous off-season. So he pitched a lot of last year with an issue that wasn't shoulder related; it was internal, and maybe that helps explain why some starts he was sitting in the 93 range. He needs to stay healthy too, and the Rangers need to try to take care of him to make sure he does that as well. So it's not just one pitcher they might be worried about. Um, you know, with deGrom and not overtaxing him, but Eovaldi. Eovaldi's only thrown 30, made 30 starts twice in his career. He's well aware of that. He made 29 in 2024, so he almost got there. But that's something else to keep a watch on. How are they going to try to um, keep? How are the Rangers going to try to keep these two guys upright off the injured list and pumping out quality starts in September? Again, this is a team that expects to contend for a playoff spot, and like I said, the Texas Rangers, until the offense proves otherwise, are a pitching first franchise. I'm sure a lot of you never thought you'd live to hear that. I'm not sure I thought I would ever live to hear that, and but it's true. It's true. It's true. It's true. Okay, we're going to hit our second ad break here in a minute. Um, Afterwards, we've got other players are showing up. The minor leaguers are here. They have their first meeting today. They're going to hit the field tomorrow, and we're going to take a look at five or six of the guys. I think I pushed it to six guys I really want to see from minor league camp. We'll talk about them next on the DLLS Rangers podcast. All right, guys, supporters club. Those of you who are members, I'd like to get some feedback on the video of me, day in the life of a Rangers beat writer. As you can see, if you've seen the video, which you can only see if you're a member of supporters club. Um, I'm not the most exciting guy, but there's some stuff in there. There was a shout out to Orange Theory Fitness and to Booties, so I'm always a big fan of both of those. Anyway, supporters club. It's our diehard membership for the YouTube channel, and it's very inexpensive. You get a bunch of free emojis, but the thing you get is the videos that nobody else gets to see, and it's not just Rangers videos. It's Cowboys, Stars, Mavs, and Rangers. Hopefully, we're expanding our repertoire here in upcoming years. But for now, those are the four. But it's stuff you don't want to miss, from veteran reporters, behind the scenes looks, and I'm a big behind the scene kind of guy. I like that stuff. Gives you guys access to things that other people don't necessarily get to see. So anyway, join the supporters club today. And while you're joining things, you need to join the merch merch brigade, because you absolutely positively need to have DLLS merch to be in the Cool Kids Club. Go to store.allcitynetwork.com and check that stuff out. Um, it's a bunch of T-shirts, yeah, but it's also sweatshirts, it's hats, and beer steins, coffee cups, flags. We even throw in some college stuff there. My wife got her brother a Texas Tech coffee mug as one of his stocking stuffers this year for Christmas, because he went to Texas Tech. I don't hold that against him, but it's good times. We do not have the TCU coffee mug yet, but I do have two of the TCU shirts. So you can get all that stuff at store.allcitynetwork.com, and if you are a diehard, you get 20% off of your merchandise at store.allcitynetwork.com. All right, on to the next segmento, segment 3. We are going to talk about minor league camp. Minor league camp always starts a little bit later. Yes, there have been a lot of minor leaguers here as the fill-ins in the A games when the starters are removed, whether it be the pitchers or whether it be the position players who are only playing a couple 3 innings to start anyway. That's going to start to their time on the field and their frequency on the field is going to increase. There will still be players from minor league camp who will be in A games. There's no question about that. But now it's the time for all the minor leaguers to come together to begin preparing for their seasons. For the pitchers, it's starting their buildup as well. They've all been throwing for a long time, probably some of them too long, but it's time to start the buildup and get ready for the season. The AAA season starts so early; it starts right after Major League opening day. The AA season, I believe it starts. I got to pull up my calendar here. That means I'm touching my computer, so all hell may break loose here. Um, let's go down to April. Woo, that was close. I think the AA, high A, and low A seasons all start on April 3rd. So that's right around the corner, and these kids need to build up. And then the ones who are waiting for their assignments and don't have any idea where they're going, they have to arrange housing and or find their house. I think the Rangers supply them, most of them, with living arrangements per the changes with the MLB, and um, giving these players a better lifestyle than what they were making earlier in their careers. So anyway, so that's all starting to unwind today with the first meeting, and then tomorrow they'll all be on the field. Rangers Perspective is asking about John Radigan. I'll talk about him in the batting cleanup. Anyway, here we go, guys. I want to see, okay, because there are a few of them, and it starts with, and I don't know if a lot of you guys are on the same page as me with this, but I want to see AJ Russell. He was the Rangers' second round pick last year, right-handed pitcher from Tennessee. Got a huge bonus, 2.6 million. He's was coming off of internal brace surgery. He was hurt in 23, had the brace surgery. I'm sorry, he was hurt in 24. He had a good 23, brace surgery 24. Came back and pitched a little bit last year for Tennessee. Only 70 innings in college, but there are times the Rangers have seen him pre-injury. They were like, this guy's a top 15 pick in the draft. So they felt like they got a steal in the second round on Russell, and so they're ready to see it. The fastball can hit 98, but it sits 92 to 94. But a lot of people think it is a plus fastball, just with the life it shows, the characteristics it has. So I want to see it. He throws a changeup that has a chance to be a really, really good major league pitch. The slider needs tightening up. But for somebody you're going to invest that kind of money in, and with all the praise that the Rangers gave him, I want to see AJ Russell. I also want to see Caden Scarborough, who's considered the top prospect, the Rangers' top pitching prospect. He is their number 2 prospect in Baseball America. He's a top 100 prospect by Baseball America. Fabulous season last year in 2025, a low A, a little taste of high A. Kind of started a little bit slow, but then picked it up. Was really terrific. and is worthy of the high praise. Now he needs to do it at higher levels. I'd imagine he'll start at high A this year. Not sure about that, but I would be shocked if he didn't start there. He also throws a sweeper, and he's been working on a split changeup, which is a good pitch. This is a big guy, very athletic. Was a really good basketball player in high school. He can do a lot of things, and that allows him to pitch, makes him a better pitcher. How does athleticism make a guy better? They can repeat their delivery. They generate power and things like that. There's a lot that goes into it, but he's a terrific athlete. He did have a malignant melanoma removed here in the off season. Expected to start the season on time with an affiliate. Another guy who's been mentioned a lot, who I'd like to see, is Jack Wheeler, sixth round pick last year out of Illinois, high school kid. The Rangers gave him over $500,000, 525,000 to keep him from going to the University of Illinois. He was a two-way player in high school, but is primarily going to be a hitter. That's his path here. Third baseman. He's only 19. All right, so he didn't even play last year. So this is going to take some patience. He's not going to be in the major leagues next year. He struggles with the breaking balls, which a lot of young hitters do. But he is a big guy, 6'5", 205, can generate a ton of power. If he stays at shortstop, if he stays in the 205, the 220 range, I can see him still. He can move well playing third base. He may end up in the outfield. Huge arm, so the outfield would be a great spot for him if third base becomes if he becomes a liability there. I also want to take a look at Anthony Gutierrez, who it feels like we've been looking at forever. And really, the first time I saw him was the summer of 2022 when I came here to see Josh Young. But I also did a story on some of those international guys that were here. And Gutierrez was kind of thought to be the cream of the crop. He was the big signee that year, and was really good in Arizona that year. And it just hasn't happened since. And the problem's been injuries. He broke his finger in 23. Can't remember the 24 injury. I think it was a shoulder. Last year it was his elbow. Yeah, he had to have the brace surgery. So staying on the field's been his biggest hurdle in his development. He's also too aggressive at the plate. But this is a fabulous young man. Fluent in English, which doesn't make him fabulous. I mean, it helps, but he's just a good kid. All right. Also, somebody who I think everybody wants to watch is the first rounder from 2024, catcher Malcolm Moore, 30th overall from Stanford. Last year was his first full season. He broke his finger early on, but he also struggled when he was healthy. All right, the bat wasn't where it needs to be. He was uber aggressive, which he wasn't in college. And then he didn't have a lot of pop. He wasn't finding the barrel a lot. So that has to improve. He needs to be better against left-handed pitching. He's a left-handed hitter, so he needs to be better against them. And then the catching also, needs some work. And that's kind of, when he was drafted, a lot of people thought, well, this guy's a future first baseman. And the Rangers, Kip Fagg was very adamant because he was asked about the catching, and they said, we wouldn't have selected him if we didn't think he could catch. Well, it's going to take some time. The catching needs to be shaped up. And Malcolm, to his credit, has been here since Major League Camp opened. He's been here. He's been catching bullpens and getting his work in. So it'll be curious to see. I don't think this is a big year for him because catchers always take a little extra time. But when you're a first round pick, I think that kind of, and a lot of people are like, well, this guy needs to be in the major leagues. This could be a big year for him. And then the last guy I want to see. I mean, I want to see more than six. I didn't list Dylan Dreiling here, who's needs to have a good year offensively after he struggled with Malcolm down there in high A. But I would love to. I really want to see Brock Porter. He was the 2022 fourth round pick. That was only the Rangers' second pick, though. And remember, they gave him more money than they gave Kumar Rocker that year. They gave Porter, I think it was 3.25, maybe 3.3 million, to forego a commitment to Clemson. Porter was thought to be a top 15 pick. He was He was on stage. He was in where was it that year? Los Angeles maybe, and I don't remember where the All Star game was, but I think it was LA. And he didn't get drafted. Didn't get drafted. First round, nope. Second round, nope. First day, did not get drafted. He was ready to go to college. The Rangers called him and said, "Hey, if you're there when it's our pick, we're going to take you." And by God, they did. He's from the Michigan area or the Detroit area. He's from Michigan, and was a hard thrower. Hit 100 miles per hour in high school. Unbelievable changeup. What everybody was saying about it. And his first pro year at low A, I think at the time at the time it was down east. He was fantastic in 2023, but then 2024 was miserable. They asked him to make some mechanical changes. They didn't stick. He lost velocity and spent basically the whole year out of competition. He was in Arizona the whole year trying to get back. Last year, they they sent him back out. He was a full time reliever, and that was his choice. He chose to be a full time reliever because he wanted to get more mound reps, get a better feel. And guess what? He pitched really well. He did, especially compared to what he showed early in 2024. Brock Border looked really, really good. His control was better. His velocity got better. Um, this is a story that hasn't been told in full yet. It's fluid. I'm assuming that he's going to be a starter, right? They at least give it another shot. It's a big investment that you put into him. So to get the most value out of him, he needs to be a starting pitcher. I think they want to look at it. If it doesn't work, then maybe it is back to the bullpen. Maybe he can convert into a closer. Maybe he becomes the long lost closer the Rangers have been looking to develop. But the fact of the matter is, I want to see him. I want to talk to him, make sure he's doing all right. As a kid, he's a good kid. I believe he got engaged recently or in the off season, so he's got that going for him. There are a lot of pieces that should be in place for Brock Porter to step forward this season in 2026 and maybe start to realize his potential. And I believe he will be Rule 5 eligible after this season, if I'm not mistaken. So that's something else you got to look out for. Um, if it's a bad year, nobody's going to take him. But if it's a good year, you never know. You never know if these guys. So, which minor leaguers do you guys want to see? Misty, have you been checking them out? Um, I think that um, I think that there's just a group of guys who we don't know. There's a lot of untapped potential down there, like Alorki Rodriguez, who was so good last year in the DSR, but he's still so young. What steps does he need to take? Paulino Santana, who's kind of in the Anthony Gutierrez realm, as a former top 5 prospect with the club, who hasn't shown a lot yet. So anyway, we will see what happens as far as a minor league camp. You always find out after the fact about some injuries. It's just kind of a bummer of a deal that we won't hear about them, but we might notice some guys who aren't pitching and be like, what's up with that? Isaac Tiger's another guy to keep an eye on. He's still, though, finishing up the rehab from his elbow surgery last year. So he's rehabbing. I've seen him. I haven't seen him do much of anything. I'm assuming he's getting close to being on a mound. But that's something that we haven't received an update on. So anyway, all right. So that's segment 3. We're going to wrap things up with some batting cleanup. And we'll get to that after we talk about the fabulous opportunity of becoming a DLS diehard. We'll do that right after this. All right, as I talked about, diehard time, and guess what? Guess what? There's still a diehard sale. I'm back in Arizona. Um, Go to alldls.com/spring-training-offer, and you can become a DLS diehard for $36 for 1 year. You still get the free T-shirt. Life is pretty sweet. Um, it's the best coverage. Yeah, yeah. Hey, best coverage in spring training, and I'm not going to disagree with that. Yeah, okay, there you go. So go ahead and do that. Here's what you get for your $36. You get access to every story written at DLS. not just Rangers, Mavericks, Stars, Cowboys. Um, there's some Cowboys news. Some sort of defensive end is hurt. The Mavs are kind of going rudderless the rest of the way without Kyrie Irving going to play, and then Cooper Flag seems like they're taking it pretty easy on him. And the Stars, though, holy smokes, was it 8 straight wins for them? So a lot to read from Sam Nessler. I love it. If you're going to be smart and be a good sports fan, you want to impress the fellas and the ladies, then you need to become a diehard because you get all the information you could possibly get. So do it. All right, let's go ahead and knock that out. You can scan the QR code, or for the last time, this is the last time I'm going to say it, alldls.com/spring hyphen training hyphen offer. Do it today. All right, let's go bat some cleanup, Elijah. All right, batting cleanup. The graphic that Elijah made is very, very good. A couple things Rangers wise, and this is something I'm going to read off of my phone, so excuse me for doing that. But I saw some people who were wondering about a statue that had been on the concourse, and what the heck was that? Who is it of? Well, there is an answer to that. The Rangers today unveiled a statue that will be permanently housed in Globe Life Field and left field. It is the called the One Riot, One Ranger statue. It's basically a nod to the Texas Rangers, the law enforcement group, not the baseball team. Um, it has been in the Metroplex for a long time. It was actually a Love Field for many years. It was donated in 1961 to the city of Dallas. So that's, do the math here. That's a long time ago. How about older than me? Um, so anyway, um, it's now the 7th statue at Globe Life Field or Choctaw Stadium. So that's what all the hubbub was about. While you guys are talking about John Radigan there, some sad news from Michigan, where John's been for the last couple of weeks. His father finally, not finally, but his father passed away. They had just kind of been anticipating that it was going to happen. He passed away, I believe, last night. John sent text to me today, and he's sad, of course, but um, the good news is that his father's no longer dealing with the issues he was dealing with, and it was a good run for Mr. Radigan. I think he was 88 or 89. So John and his family had been preparing for this for a while. His dad had a stroke at some point last year, and while it was a minor stroke, the mind was never the same, and there was some dementia involved, and slowly but surely it caught up to him. So John, we're thinking about you. We love you, and hope that things are going well up there in Michigan. And as for where John is, yeah, we had a show about a month ago now. This podcast isn't going anywhere though. All right, Ranger Perspective, we're in good shape. You just have to listen to me for an hour if you can stomach that. We hope though that at some point in the future we're able to do some things that give me a chance to catch my breath and maybe even get. I'm not supposed to say it, but it's been talked about potentially somehow getting John back on the show. So anyway, don't hold your breath because it's not something that's in motion right now, but it's not far behind. Okay, batting cleanup across the majors. We'll start in the AL West. Mariner starter Bryce Miller. He's got oblique inflammation and is going to miss his next Cactus League start. He only made 18 starts last year because of an arm injury. This guy is from Mount Pleasant. He's a native Texan, so don't hold the Mariners thing against him too much. But they're already having a couple issues in their rotation. The Astros are having a big issue with their closer, Josh Hader. He is still not certain for opening day. He hasn't thrown off a mound yet, which would make it seem like open day ain't happening. Okay, so if the Astros don't have him, their bullpen becomes very ordinary, and that's troubling for them. Blake Snell, the Dodgers pitcher, the two-time Cy Young winner, he's kind of ramping up a little bit more at Dodgers camp, but Dave Roberts, the manager, says that not looking good for Blake Snell to be on the opening day roster. All right, over on the other side of the surprise complex at Kansas City, right-hander Stephen Kolek who pitched the opener against the Rangers, the spring opener. They got him last year from the Padres. He has a grade 1 oblique sprain and is going to start the season on the injured list. So that's kind of a blow to a team. Anytime you lose a starter, even if he wasn't a sure thing for the rotation, you're like, geez, you know, that's something to worry about. All right, across the world there in Scottsdale, where the Rockies train at Talking Stick, their center fielder, their great center fielder, Brendan Doyle, he has a sprained left wrist. He's looking at a few more days of rest. The opening day roster is still a possibility, but that's something to keep an eye on. I know there are a couple of guys in the chat who've really, especially Uncle Ted. Uncle Ted apparently, just judging by Uncle Ted's activity, Uncle Ted loves him some Brendan Doyle, really good defensive center fielder. In also, I skipped this while we were talking about the Royals. They signed Starling Marte, the veteran outfielder, to a 1-year deal. The Rangers play the Royals on Thursday night. Don't know if Starling will be ready to go by then, but maybe that's when the Rangers will get a chance to see him. Jackson Holiday. Um, he is throwing again over in Florida at Orioles camp. He had the broken right hamate bone. He's a left-handed hitter, and when you break your hamate bone, it's almost always the lower hand on the bat, and that's for a right-handed hitter and right-handed thrower, that's okay. But for a left-handed hitter and a right-handed thrower, it's a little more troubling. But he has started throwing again. He will start swinging Thursday. He is still expected to start the season on the injured list. However, Corbin Carroll, the Diamondbacks' young stud, is there's growing optimism that he will be ready for opening day. That's the gut feeling of their manager Torey Lovullo. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know why you want to rush it. Just anybody who knows anything about guys who have that surgery, it takes some time. Bubba Thompson had it in the minors. Delano DeShields had it, and it's not just like a thing you get over. Okay, it affects you for a while after you're even cleared. It's still you're still not feeling right. So if I'm the Diamondbacks, I'm taking my time, but I'm not the Diamondbacks. So we'll see how that goes. Everybody has departed for the World Baseball Classic. You see the Japanese players who've been in the United States, they left for Japan a while ago. So Shohei Ohtani and all those fellas are over there in Japan playing exhibition games. You'll see exhibition games popping up on Cactus League schedules tomorrow. The Royals are playing Cuba here in Surprise, and then Wednesday, as we mentioned, the Rangers are playing um, Brazil. Noted baseball power Brazil will be in Surprise to face the Rangers. And it's an interesting situation for the Rangers. They play today, then they're off tomorrow, and then Wednesday they play, and then Thursday have a night game. So as Skip Schumacher weighs how to deploy guys, he doesn't want to give guys 2 days off so many days off in a row with the off day here, and then he wants to play a lot of guys Wednesday, but he said he's going to treat Wednesday kind of like a split squad game. So there will be the game in the stadium here, and then there'll be a game on the backfields where a lot of guys who you've heard of are going to be getting at bats there, and then while guys you've heard of are in the stadium getting their at bats, and then the night game Thursday. So it's an interesting schedule, really, for the night game this early is kind of a pain in the rear. I think it's going to be on Kansas City TV. I don't know that for sure. Whatever Kansas City's doing for TV this year, right? Are they one of the teams that went to MLB? I think they all went to MLB. Anyway, you may be able to find the Royals game on TV if you guys want to watch that. Um, and I believe that game is on radio Thursday night locally for us. So there you go. I think Eric and Matt worked the weekend. I haven't seen either one of them today, but get ready for some radio action Thursday night. And then Friday it's a day game here, so the Rangers don't have to leave Surprise for like a whole week. So that's pretty that's pretty nice. Kind of settle in a little bit. Um, um, Not that these trips are terrible or far or anything like that, but it's still good to not have to go. You know where you're going, so you may see some better lineups get rolled out this week. Haven't checked on the old Twitter machine lately for any updates from around baseball, but it just seems like guys are getting sore, dealing with some stuff, and you know as T.R. Sullivan always said, and as I warned you the other day about the Josh Young hamstring injury, you never underestimate a springtime injury. Well, guess what? TR nailed that one again. Now, Josh, I think, is going to be fine. I don't think we have to worry too much about him, but um, as far as his availability for opening day. But I think you're always going to worry about Josh in an injury situation. So, anyway, let me check the chat here, see what we've got. Misty is rooting for Taiwan. Okay, that's cool. Um, Benny Bullock, looking forward to a great year from Carter Baumler. I talked to him today, and he's pretty happy, obviously, with the way things are going. He is pitching earlier in games, um, and and so that he can face guys who you've heard of. This guy seems pretty composed and confident for somebody who's barely pitched above A ball. I think now, having seen it, um, I think there is a chance to keep him around. Uh, for him to stay on the roster. But things always get different though. When you actually get in a game with three decks and you're facing guys you've been growing up watching, that can take a little bit of an adjustment period. Um, and the Rangers have on multiple occasions um, brought pitchers into a season uh, only to see them stumble and realize they aren't ready, and so they go ahead and cut ties with the pitcher. They put him on waivers, and sometimes they make it through, sometimes they don't. I guess the one I'm thinking of most recently is Brett DeGus. You guys remember Brent DeGus? Um, he's still somewhere around baseball, but the Rangers had DFA'd him after he made their roster and didn't pitch very well, and he got claimed, I think, by Arizona. So the same rules applied to him. Arizona had to keep him on the roster for whatever was left of the season. So, but Carter's looks pretty good. Carter has looked pretty good. Um, so there you go. Any other questions? Da 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 da. Misty, bring Abby back. Well, we got to get through spring training. We were talking today about what we're going to do for this season. Um, so um, there you go. I'll let you know when I know. Um, what else do we got? Da. Is Isaac Tiger still rehabbing? Yes, Mason, he is. Oh yeah, I said I'd get you updated. So um, I'm going to work on that. Um, Mason, you're on the same page as me. That's nice. Russell, Scarborough, and Wheeler, fantastic. I'm glad to hear it. Anything else? Oh yeah, the WBC team is in Scottsdale. It's pretty good guys over there. I'm glad you're going over there, Leon. That's pretty exciting. Take a break from Rangers camp because there is no major league game tomorrow. So go see Skeens and Raleigh and Judge Harper. They're all on the McAfee show right now. Yeah, I saw Pat McAfee was out here. Um, I don't know, not a huge fan of that guy, but whatever. Okay, so this show is done. Thank you for putting up with my absolute idiot technical issues there in the first segment. We're going to be back Wednesday, but we're going to do a post game show Wednesday. Okay, so post game show Wednesday. I think we are down to start it at 5:30. 5:30 Central Time Wednesday. That means it'll give us plenty of time to get to talk to Jacob deGrom if he pitches, talk to Kumar Rocker if he pitches, and get sound bites and video from them and feedback from them on their potential outings. And then Thursday, we're not going to do a Friday show because we're traveling Friday. We're going to do a Thursday show, night game Thursday here. So we'll have plenty of space available to do a show at our normal time, which is 1 p.m. Central Time. So join us all week. I'll be in Arizona through Friday. I'll come home and then I'll go back for the last week. Time for me to go watch Nathan Eovaldi pitch. Check out my Twitter, which you see right there. Try to get some video loaded up. Check out the Rangers, DLS Rangers Twitter, where also we will try to get some videos and updates and try to be a little more active there. So there you go. That's it for today. Thanks to the Prophet for getting me through it. And thanks for you guys for your patience. And we will see you Wednesday on the DLLS Rangers podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.